Hey, welcome back to the channel. We are back again with a post-game commentary, and today I'm actually running a deck that I pieced together myself here. This is two matches in this video that I'm watching, but we're only going to go over the first one. The second one we will do in another video, but I built a Sakazuki deck because I figured it would be fun to use a leader that I haven't seen many people talk about, and I goofed up big here because later on I figured out I forgot to put the Sakazuki character into the deck. So the whole time this match is going, if you're wondering where the Sakazuki is, I just completely forgot to put it in the deck. So we're going to go ahead and start with the 2-drop Garp on our first turn here. The leader for the Sakazuki leader, for some reason I thought it was a -3 Dawn, like the Z kind of effect, but it's actually just tap 3. So the first couple rounds or turns, I just completely don't utilize his ability because I'm thinking I'm going to have to return 3 to the deck, and it was definitely not the the best thought process. But from here, they're on 2 Momonosuke's, which means they have all the power in the world to search out what they need to search out. I think right there may have been where it kind of started clicking in my head that I just have to tap 3. I don't have to get rid of 3. So the Borsellino seemed like the best play. This entire game I kept wondering where my Sakazukis were, why I was not getting to what I needed to get to, and yeah, that was just something in hindsight that I completely couldn't believe that I forgot. But we do get rid of both of the Momonosuke's. They go in with a little bit of a poke at the Garp, and to be honest with you, I'm not too worried about the Garp. So I'm just gonna let it go. There's no reason to block there because they're trying to bait out the block with the 5 Dawn still active. And I figure Borsellino will be more effective later, and I have counters in hand, so that means even if they come down with something, I can keep Borsellino on the board. The X-Drake comes down. I don't know if they thought maybe they were going to get rid of the Borsellino and just didn't read it or what, but the X-Drake still was a good play because it is a big body on board that even if I block an attack from, I'm still going to have to get rid of something in the hand to keep the Borsellino on the board. So from here we're at 6 Dawn, and I'm trying to debate whether or not it's worth going ahead and getting the 5-drop Smoker on the field, which I end up thinking is the correct play. So Sakazuki with 1 Dawn to just kind of poke, keep the Borsellino active for a block if needed, which it will probably be needed. And here comes the kid. I believe I counter this because I don't want to lose any more life than I already have. But no, I go ahead and take it just to see if maybe we can get another 2 counter to hand from the life. We get the Hina, which the Hina's not bad, but the 7-drop kid does come down, and I'm never excited to see that. We draw the Borsellino off the top, and from here, there's just a lot of cards that I felt weren't really going to help me. And the Smoker ability isn't going to go into effect. I'm just not drawing anything really to lower cost. So the Kobe's not worthwhile. The Borsellino's the only thing that really makes sense other than maybe the Rosinante. And from here, I'm just debating on my next move forward. And so we're going to attach the Dawn and just going for a poke to try to get a life off of their pile or get something out of their hand, but they are just hoarding resources like there's no tomorrow. We're going to attach a Dawn and go in for the 8k poke. but they do put the kid out for the block and go ahead and throw the Scratchman Apu for the 2K counter. And from here, I believe we're going to play the Rosinante just to have a third blocker on board to hopefully mitigate having to take any more hits to the life, because the more we take to the life with the setup we have right now, the worse off we are. I mean, it's just not looking that great, and having the Sakazuki in the deck at this point probably would have been very helpful. We could have gotten some things off the board. There's plenty I had in hand that I would have been willing to get rid of. Go ahead and get rid of the Rosinante because it's the least optimal blocker on the board, and it serves its purpose by sacrificing itself there. And then the Yamato comes down. They go ahead and tap the Borsalino, and then they use the X-Drake. And right here, I'm debating on whether or not it's worth keeping the Borsalino or not, or if it's more beneficial to keep the counters in hand for when they go for life. And I do opt to go ahead and let the one of the Borsalinos go to the trash, which is just fine, to be honest with you, because in my mind, I'm thinking maybe I'll get something to reduce some costs so I can utilize the Kobe, not realizing that the Kobe pretty much should have just been used as a counter. From here, I'm debating on whether or not the Smoker is worthwhile, and so I do decide that the Smoker is worth keeping on board. In hindsight, maybe it wouldn't have, since there is another one. We get the 10-drop Kuzan, and I do debate for a minute whether or not it is worth just dropping it, and it is. But now I'm faced with, do we get rid of Yamato or the X-Drake? They're both 6K bodies. I figure the Yamato, I don't know why I chose the Yamato there. I guess it was because I knew I could attack into the X-Drake. But honestly, with the amount of resources they had in their hand, I should have gotten rid of the X-Drake, because the Yamato would have been easier to lower cost on the following turn. But the the Paradise Waterfall comes down and just completely negates all of that. So now we're facing down a 7-drop Kid, a 5-drop X-Drake, the leader, and they have 10 Dawn at their disposal. This is not looking too great for me. I do have a 10-drop Kuzan, which is finally some cost reduction happening for me, but even with the 10-drop Kuzan, it's still not the most optimal position to be in with a black deck. Do keep in mind, I went in blind with this Sakazuki deck. I'm familiar with black. I know what kind of the staples are. There's not a very large card pool for black whenever you're playing just like OPO2 format, which was the concept I was going for this match. But I think there were definitely some other choices I could have added into the deck, and choices I could have taken out of the deck, which I did do after the match with this person, because we played this game and then we rematched with another game right after this, and after that is when I went into the deck editor and realized, oh, there's no Sakazuki character in the deck. Wonderful. I redid it, and it ran a little bit worse, but it was a little bit more consistent. So I think I will be optimizing that a little bit, and a Sakazuki compilation will either come before or after this video is uploaded. If I can get the Sakazuki compilation recorded before this one is uploaded and scheduled, I will do the compilation first. I tend to like to do the compilations first, just because then you can see me kind of really getting familiar with the deck, or having it optimized, or learning it, and then going into a game for commentary afterwards when I'm more familiar with it. I just feel like that's a better formula. But they do hit us with the Beige and the Bonnie. So they now have a searcher and a extra blocker, though the kid is going to unrest at the end of the turn because it does have a Dawn. So we basically have 2 blockers to deal with, the Scratch Mana Poo for the 2k body, and the killer as they pass the turn. We do draw the Suru for a 2k counter. The 5k Garb, honestly, I don't think it ever helped me the way I thought it might. So at this point, I may or may not have already realized that the Sakazuki effect doesn't trash the Dawn or reset the Dawn to the deck. So I'm just kind of debating what the best move is here. The Meteor Volcano is still in hand from the very beginning of the game. We just never actually had a chance to use it because we haven't had too much cost reduction, and we honestly hadn't seen too many low cost characters from the kid deck. So if I remember correctly, I do end up Meteor Volcanoing one of the blockers. I believe the killer or the beige. I took my time with debating on how to move forward with this. There's a lot of choices. We're at full Dawn, we're in late game. So the Kuzan is helping facilitate with some, lower cost stuff. And I've just really got this decision on, do I get rid of the Bonnie so that they can't search anymore, or do I get rid of a blocker? And I opt to get rid of the X-Drake. I think my thought process was I can bait out the blockers and get rid of them that way and maybe still live another turn. But honestly, I should have gotten rid of probably the killer and then gone into the Bonnie, got rid of it, or got blocked and got rid of something. So the thought process here, I guess, was the Garp is the bigger body. The Hina's probably not coming out anytime soon to utilize this effect. We could get rid of the kid there. And I'm basically just trying to clear their board without attacking so that maybe I can push a little bit harder for game. And I'm just in this weird position of knowing like they're going to block things. And I only get 2 attacks, and there's 2 blockers on board. So I should have Kobe'd, but I didn't want to get rid of things that were in my hand that could be more beneficial. And I wanted to also have the Impact Wave active. But we do opt to use Sakazuki's effect for the first time in the game. And that was probably the worst time for me to use it. But there is 1 less blocker, and I know they're probably going to block this because the Bonnie probably going to come in clutch, and at this point we do get to go ahead and poke in 1 more for life, knowing that the Kuzan very possibly could not be here the next turn just because we're late game, and they stack up just like that. But they do not go into the Kuzan, they just try to poke for the life with 3 Dawn left after stacking 7 onto the kid. But what I didn't realize here was that the kid could restand itself just like they just did, and then go in for the 12k for game. And I was just shy of being able to counter out of it. I believe if I would have been able to counter out of it and gone 1 more turn, I could have taken it. But it is what it is. Again, this is why we play, this is why we test, this is why we learn, we grow, and we become better at the game that we love. So, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for One Piece TCG content just about every day. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps out a ton. Thank you for watching if you watched all the way to this point, and until next time, I will see you later. Peace.